Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Elite Wrestling World. I am your host GhostSaad. Thank you guys for joining me right here for AEW Collision post-show review. What a stack card we have for tonight. Young Bucks versus the Rascalz tag team match and Jon Moxley versus Nick Wayne in a Continental title Eliminator match and Thekla defending against Alex Windsor. So let's get dive into the talk about that. So we started off with Adam Copeland in-ring promo segment. Copeland walks out with a black eye. He listed off various other injuries he got in the match with FTR at Dynasty. He said Christian was getting MRIs on his forearm and that's why he wasn't here. He addressed FTR saying they won't get another title shot. He said their rivalry is about more than titles and they aren't going to just walk away. So then FTR came out with Stokely, Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta attacked Copeland from behind and it was a 4-on-1 attack. And this brought out Young Bucks to make the save. Young Bucks took out FTR first, then Roppongi Vice, and then Copeland gave Beretta a spear. Copeland and Bucks shook hands, so that's the end of the segment. And I think so we might get 8-man tag between these two teams a piece, and we might get a 3-way at Double or Nothing for the tag titles as well. So let's see what happens next. Backstage we saw Jack Perry. He said he wants to fight Don Callis' family member, anyone, for the national championship next week on Dynamite. So let's see who answers the challenge for national title. First action of the night, we saw Young Bucks versus the Rascalz. Crowd chanted the Elite before the bell. It was all Young Bucks early, hitting double team moves on both Myron Reed and Zachary Wentz. Nick Jackson is fighting back as we come back from the break. He makes a hot tag to Matt Jackson and hit his repeating Northern Light suplex on Wentz and then grabbed onto Reed as well and suplexed both opponents on the final one. Bucks got back into hitting the super kick party. Zachary Wentz out of the ring and then hit the BTE trigger on Myron Reed, but Zachary Wentz broke up the pin. Finally, we saw Bucks hitting Zachary Wentz with the Milter driver, and that's the end of the match. And I think it was a very fantastic tag team match between these two teams. They both looked fantastic. After the match, we saw Clark Connors and David Finlay attacking the Bucks. They also attack Rascalz as well. They continue to attack both teams, and Finlay cut a promo after saying they might be down one dog, but the mission stays the same. They want bodies and gold. So I think so we might get a feud between Bucks and the Dogs, as Gabe Kidd is injured for a while now, and Dogs in the tag team division is gonna be a fantastic. Next up is the World Trios Champion, the Conglomeration versus Lethal Swerve, Blake Christian, Jay Lethal and Lee Johnson in a title eliminator bout for the Trios title. The Conglomeration all came out with their titles in the backpacks, just as Cassidy typically does when he was the international champion. We saw babyfaces ran wild early. Cassidy hit a stun dog millionaire on Christian, but Lethal attacked O'Reilly on the apron, going after his knee, and this led to the heels taking control of the match. We saw the Swirl working on Orange Cassidy after we get back from the break. Commentary pointed out that Kyle O'Reilly was laboring to get back to the corner because of his knee. Strong continued to do good wrestling things until tagging it into O'Reilly. Lethal had O'Reilly in a finger four, but it was broke. Then we saw Strong and Orange prevented the submission from being broken up, and Johnson tapped out to Kyle O'Reilly's ankle lock. So that was a very good match for the Trios champions. Next up, we saw backstage Hook is being filmed by Katsuyori Shibata when he ran into Anthony Bowens, who wanted to know if he was in the ops or not. Hook said he will tell him next week. So let's see what happens there. Kris Statlander and Hikaru Shida in a tag team match. We saw Shida looked like she was going for the Katana before tagging in Statlander, who hit the Saturday Night Fever for the win. As a team, Statlander and Shida didn't show any dissension or anything, so perhaps everything will be all good with them from here on out. So let's see what happens next. Next up is Jon Moxley versus the returning Nick Wayne in a Continental title Eliminator match. Renee was ringside and talked about hometown boy Nick Wayne wrestling in the AEW ring for the first time in 6 months. So Excalibur also talked about Buddy Wayne, Nick's late father, and his influence on other AEW wrestlers like Darby Allin. And Moxley knocked him to the ground to start off the match with a hard knife edge chop. He then got back in the ring and offered a handshake to Wayne. Wayne accepted the handshake, but then Mox just grabbed him and gave him a pile driver. That looks brutal. Moxley was beating up Wayne as he suplexed him and then wrapped him in the submission on the mat. Wayne got his boot as a to the floor as Moxley charged in the corner. Then they exchange a few headbutts, which seems a poor strategy for Wayne. And we saw Wayne hitting a sliced bread for a very close 2 count. Moxley started daring Wayne to come at him, which fired Wayne. Moxley then bit him in the face and tried to hit the pile driver. Then Wayne escaped it and hit him with a diving moonsault that busted open Moxley as well. We got the 15-minute announcement as well. Wayne just needs a last 5 more minutes to earn a title shot, but not long ago Moxley hit the Death Riders for the win. So again, a very good eliminator match. It's gonna be interesting to see who challenges Moxley next for the Continental title. Backstage, we saw Don Callis and Okada are interviewed. Callis tell Okada he doesn't have to do the match with Takeshita, but Okada is pissed off and he said he wanted to do the match against Takeshita, and it's official. It's gonna happen at Double or Nothing between Okada and Takeshita for the international title. I think it's gonna be a banger match, and it's gonna be a must-watch match for Double or Nothing. Next up, we saw Pac versus Blackheart Leo Rush. Rush came out mumbling to himself as Excalibur said it's like he's talking to an opponent that isn't here. Pac and the referee allowed Rush to have his little Gollum style talk to himself in the corner for a bit. Leo Rush made Pac chase him for a bunch, and Pac acted sort of frightened to his opponent. Then he gave Leo Rush a pile driver on the outside. Pac looked like he was going for the Black Arrow, but Leo Rush popped up and made some strange sounds. At one point, Garcia started tossing water on Leo Rush, perhaps trying to wake him up. Shortly after, Pac hit a big clothesline and then locked in the brutalizer. Leo Rush smiled and he went unconscious, and the referee caught for the bell. So again, a very good showing for Pac as well. Next up is Brody King, Mystico, and Mascara Dorada in a trios match. Brody King chopped everyone down, then Dorada and Mystico hit their opponents with dives to the outside. Brody hit the Gonzo bomb for the shot and squash victory. Backstage, we saw Kris Statlander and Hikaru Shida interview. Shida is super happy about the win. Statlander is more reserved. Mina came in and said she needed to talk to Shida. Mina said she doesn't trust her. She said about things regarding Harley, and then her candlestick was found near Tony Storm. So they argued in Japanese, and we got the confirmation of a match between these two ladies, Shida, Mina, on Dynamite. And in the main event, we saw Women's World Champion Thekla defending the title against Alex Windsor. And Nigel and Excalibur talked about Thekla using the ropes for leverage when she pinned Jamie Hayter at Dynasty. And they also talk about Thekla being fired from Stardom for attacking the president of the company as well. So Windsor took control with a big clothesline out of the corner to start off the match. Then a Russian leg sweep and another clothesline for a very close 2 count. Thekla escaped to the outside, tripped up Windsor on the apron, took control of the match. Thekla came off the ropes and locked in the octopus stretch, but Windsor got to the ropes to get out of the octopus hold. Thekla pulled out a pair of brass knuckles. Windsor blocked her strike, tried to give her a sunset bomb, but Thekla hit her with the knucks. The referee was unaware she had them. She then hit a foot stop and got the pinfall victory. So Thekla celebrated with the title to end Collision. So it's gonna be interesting to see who challenges Thekla for the Women's World Championship at Double or Nothing. So that's the end of the show, folks. Please guys, like and share this video, subscribe to my channel, and keep watching Elite Wrestling.